Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Hot Topics versus Girl Chat. So today, the Wendy Williams show and the Real, they differed a lot on their topics, so we got a little variety going on. But the one thing that they did talk about that was the same, you know, the police helicopter has been circling for about 30 minutes now. So after I do this video, I think I'm going to meander outside to see what's going on. Hopefully don't nobody come and kick my door in while I'm on this video. But I just realized, like, they have been circling for like 30 minutes now. I think I was watching, hey, it might be more than 30 minutes, but they've been out there for a while. But let's go ahead and get into this. So the one topic that they both covered was Kanye West, and I guess Kanye has a new album or a new CD coming out, and then he's supposed to be producing something with Nas and somebody else. And so Wendy was saying that she was like going in on him, you know, saying that he's a Trump supporter, and then it was in the news that he was supporting, I guess it's like a chick, Candace Owens or something, who has like the same philosophy, like political philosophy as Stacey Dash. And so everybody, you know, is coming at Kanye, you know, for supporting her views and her opinions. And so Wendy was like, you know, he's losing his mind. He's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And then The Real kind of followed along with that sentence. Well, not really saying that he's having a nervous breakdown, but what they were talking about was these new shoes that he has that's coming out called the Yeezy Slides. And so the audience of The Real, they weren't feeling the shoes. They was like, nope, not going to buy it. And so Lonnie was saying that people probably aren't going to support the product or support the shoes because everybody's mad at Kanye, you know, for things that he's been saying and how he's been on this rant on Twitter for the past few days, just saying, you know, all kinds of crazy things. And so I decided to go over to Kanye's Twitter and see exactly what they were talking about. And I really didn't see anything. I mean, like, I didn't scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll for days, but the, you know, the few posts that I did read, I really didn't see anything that was so offensive that he said, and I'm going to read a couple of them to you. He basically, these started on April 20th. He posted, you know, all you have to be is yourself. I agree with that. Then he posted, I don't believe in horizontal hierarchy. If you build a ladder too high, it's actually most dangerous for the people at the top. And then he said, images are limitless and words aren't. Words are defined. So, you know, when you say things, people always want to define what you're saying and give it their own meaning as they're interpreting it, which I think is the same for images. Like, they say an image speaks 1,000 words. And so when you look at an image, you know, different people have different perspectives of what they're looking at. Then he wrote, sharing is community, holding information is capitalism. Then he says, iterations of ideas are how culture evolves. Everything is so planned these days. People appreciate spontaneity and honesty. Then he says, strive for universal consciousness, not segregated consciousness. Style is genderless. Yeezy is based in Calabasas, but will also be setting up offices in New York, London, and Wyoming. So, I mean, like, he is, the world is our office. I love the way Candace Owens thinks, so I think that's when it started. That was on the 21st. And then he says, only free thinkers. Then he had a longer post that says, I don't subscribe to the term and concept of God-fearing. That's a dated mentality that was used to control people. We are in the future. If God is love and love is the opposite of fear, then to fear God makes no sense. And so I don't know. You guys let me know what I'm missing. Like, what is he saying that's so controversial that everybody is up in arms about it? And then Wendy, I missed the first minute of Wendy, so I may have missed her talking about the shoes, because now that I think about it, she did say something about 2 Chainz did a collaboration with Versace for, oh no, Wendy had on some shoes, some little cute little sneakers, and she said that they were by 2 Chainz and that he had did a shoe design for the Versace label, and that they had sent her an advanced pair. So I don't know why everybody's mad at Kanye. I think everybody has a right to their own opinion and a right to their own views, and I don't follow the Candace Owen woman, so I don't know exactly what it is that she said, but I'm going to assume that what she said was probably something about black people and black people needing to do better. So like how when everybody got mad at Bill Cosby when he spoke out about black people. So that's probably along the lines of where she was at, because I know people are comparing her to Stacey Dash and some of the crazy stuff that Stacey Dash says. So Kanye was the only thing that The Real talked about that Wendy talked about also. So then back to Wendy's show. Wendy talked about Khloe Kardashian, and so she said that so before she got into the Khloe Kardashian thing, she started talking about, because remember in yesterday's show, she was talking about elected C-sections and how she wanted one, but her doctor wouldn't do it. So then today she throws in about stopping your period, and she was asking the audience, like, have you ever stopped your period before? And I can tell you I have stopped my period before, because I have like a really, 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 really heavy cycle. And I'm really waiting to go through menopause so that it will stop. But I remember going to, my daughter and I had planned to go to Miami, because I was telling you guys before that I go to the Miami Open every year down, it's a professional tennis tournament. And so I knew that my cycle was about to start and that it was going to ruin the whole trip. Just wasn't no need in me even getting in the car and driving down there. And so my daughter was like, oh, you know, if you take, did that girl tell me that it's, I think it's Aleve. Aleve has the naproxen in it, but if you take a pain reliever that has naproxen in it, that it will stop your cycle. So, you know, I went online and started researching and trying to figure out what it was all about, and I did find it online. The only thing is that you have to take a lot of it, and you have to take it like right before your cycle is supposed to start. And so I had to take like 6 pills like that first day when I knew it was about to come. I had to take 6 extra strength Aleve, which y'all know is not healthy at all. And then every 4 hours after that, I took like 2 more. And sure enough, it stopped it. And then like Wendy was saying that she would never do it because she feared that if she tried doing something like that, that when the period does actually come on, it was going to come on with the wrath of God. And so I had that same fear. But actually my cycle was very light. And I mean, I was sick to my stomach and I had to constantly eat to get that nauseous feeling to go away. But it stopped it. And when I tell y'all I have a heavy cycle, like it only lasts for 2 days, but I literally cannot leave the house. And like I'm sitting here in this chair doing this video, if my cycle was on, by the time I got up out of this chair from doing this video, it would just rush out. My pants would be soaked. It is just crazy. It's ridiculous. And I apologize if there is any men watching that we're talking about this, but some of you may have wives or girlfriends that go through the same thing. So I only did it that one time, and that was because we were going out of town, and I just could not, I wouldn't have been able to go on the trip if I didn't do it, but I've never done it again. And I don't really recommend doing it all the time because, you know, taking those pain pills can affect your liver and other body organs. And so I wouldn't do it on a regular basis, but it definitely helped out so that I didn't have to cancel my trip. So I don't know why Wendy started talking about that as she got to the Khloe Kardashian story, but she did. And so what she was saying about Khloe was that Khloe is bonding with the baby and not letting the drama with Tristan bother her. and that she's living alone in Cleveland, and all her family, you know, has gone back to California. And then she showed a picture of Chloe's house, and that was the ugliest house I had ever seen. I don't know if it was the camera angle or what was going on, because it was kind of like one of those panoramic views, so it might have distorted how the house really looked. But from that image Wendy showed, it wasn't a really cute house. And then I guess there are reports that Tristan is still reaching out to women on Instagram and hitting them up in the DMs. And then they were talking about the girl that I mentioned yesterday, that Lala Anthony is supposed to be starting a show called Gold Diggers. And somebody left a comment saying that they read that Lala had came out and said that that wasn't true, and that this girl isn't going to be on the show. But her name is Lainey, and she's an Instagram model, and she has been kicking it with Tristan. And then new pictures surfaced, they said, with Kim and Kanye and his former. So they fired their bodyguard, and now the bodyguard is hanging out with Tristan. So they're supposed to be upset about that. And then Wendy brought up, you know, what I mentioned yesterday about Chloe, you know, reportedly was cheating with Tristan. He had a girlfriend that was pregnant when they met, and Chloe cheated with him and took him away from that woman. So she knew what she was getting into. So there's really no reason for her to be upset right now. Then Wendy went over to Paris Jackson. And so she was saying that, I don't know if you guys have seen the video that's been going around where she's like on a high-rise building and she's walking along the ledge and she almost falls. And she posted it to social media with the tagline, "I almost died tonight." Well, I guess Miss Paris has some mental issues going on, and I can only imagine like being caught up with that family. And there, Wendy was saying that she's attempted suicide 3 times already, that she's 19 years old, and that she may be in a lesbian relationship with some woman, Claire. I think she's a supermodel or something. I didn't write her name down, but it seemed like it was like Claire Dame or something like that. And so that may be adding to whatever's going on. And then Paris put a video out. She deleted the video of her walking on the ledge after, you know, all TMZ and everybody picked it up. But she put out another video where she was saying that, you know, her family is going to the media talking about how concerned they are about her and her mental health. But none of them have called her to ask about her mental health. And so if they're really concerned and really worried, call her and let her know that you're concerned. Don't be going to the media. And then Wendy, you know, who is so insensitive and so detached from reality, started talking about, well, Catherine can't call and see about her because, you know, she just had a stroke and she's, you know, in her 90s and she ain't got time to be bothered with Paris and her issues because she's trying to get healthy again. And then she says that Janet is on tour and she ain't got time to be bothered with Paris. And then she starts saying that she thinks that being a mother is probably the last thing on Janet Jackson's mind. It's probably her least favorite thing. And that Janet loves being a singer and a performer and out on tour more than she loves her baby and being a mother, and that she only got caught up in being a mother because she thought she was going to be the queen of Dubai. But now that that didn't work out and her and the ex-husband have shared custody, that he's probably going to have the baby most of the time. And I'm like, how do you just come up with these assumptions about people that you don't know? And then she goes on to LaToya, because LaToya did speak out and say that, you know, Paris is just being a teenager, and that, you know, what else did Paris, oh, they had another video of her like hanging out the window or out the sunroof of the car as the car is speeding down the road. And, you know, she says she's just being a teenager. But Wendy says that LaToya is out of touch with reality and says that she now, that she doesn't even know how to squeeze a lemon. So she showed up Paris with her issues, and then the audience was like, oh my God, that was so far-fetched, where did that come from? And then Wendy showed a clip of a reality show that LaToya is on called Worst Cooks in America, and I guess they're doing like a celebrity rendition. And so I was just like, oh my God. So then she went on to DMX. So y'all know DMX is serving a year in prison for tax evasion, and he owes, I think, $1 million. It was $1 million. No, he owes $10 million according to Wendy. And so Wendy said that DMX lawyer says he's making new music, you know, writing some lyrics, I guess, so when he get out, you know, he can put out a new CD, and that he's exploring movie and book deals. And so Wendy says that, you know, she isn't here for the book, you know, she didn't want to read nothing about DMX, but she would support a movie, and she thinks that the movie should be in the movie theater and not on television. And I think a movie about DMX's life would be quite interesting. I would probably check that out. I don't really go to movie theaters, but I would wait for it to come out on DVD. And then she was talking about how, you know, DMX only got 1 year in jail, but then it seemed like Wesley Snipes was in jail for about 3, 4, 5 years. And then she told a story about how he skipped out on, he was supposed to come on her show, and that they had paid for the hotel, the airfare, had him a driver ready and everything. They had even bought the rights to the song Up in Here. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Can't remember what the name of it, but anyway, they had bought the rights for him to be able to perform on the show. And she said that right before the show, the people called and said he wasn't coming. So she was so angry, and says that, you know, he fooled her once, but he wasn't gonna fool her again. And then she went on to say that she could have been in a past life, she could have been DMX's manager or one of his baby mamas. And so the audience was laughing, and so that she goes into one of her stories, you know, she goes like, you know, there was once a girl named Wendy. So Wendy said, I guess when she was doing radio, that she was leaving work, and this guy was outside waiting on her. You know, she was ignoring and wasn't paying no attention. So she got in her car and drove off, and then she got stopped at the red light. And so the guy like ran up on the side of the car and threw a CD into the car. And so she said that she kind of like looked at it and then tossed it out the window. Well, it turned out to be DMX. And years later, like after he had became famous, she interviewed him, and he told her that story and said that, you know, he would never forget that she threw that CD out the window. So, but that sounds like something Wendy would do, so I don't know why he was surprised. Then the last story that she covered actually happened about 20 miles away from where I live at in Sarasota, Florida. So this boy, this white boy, wanted to ask this girl out to the prom. So he made this sign that said, if I was black, I would be picking cotton, but I'm white, so I'm picking you. Now, he thought that was cute, and she thought it was cute too, because she took a picture and posted it to her Instagram. And so now it's caused all this outrage and everything. But the good part is the NAACP has stepped in, and they're going to organize these diversity training courses for the kids at the school. And they had this black girl named Erin Williams on the news, and she was saying that even though it was hurtful what he did, it's an opportunity to open the door and for them to have dialogue where they could talk about like things you should and should not be saying to one another, which maybe Real Housewives of Atlanta should partake in that training also. And then Kim, they can teach Kim what not to be saying to the black women, and teach the black women what not to be saying to the white women, and then they won't be, you know, fighting and carrying on and cussing each other out. So Wendy was all up in her feelings about this story, and she was saying that every black kid in the school should sue, that he should be kicked out of school, that no college should accept him in their school, and that his parents should be kicked out of whatever organizations that they belong to. And I'm sitting there saying, but weren't you the woman that just yesterday called a black woman in your audience blackie and like it was nothing? Well, I mean, at least the teen came back and apologized. He got on social media and said that he was trying to be funny, but now he realized it was stupid and that he didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. And, you know, he's sorry for everything that happened. I don't know whether he's sincere or not, but at least he apologized, Wendy, which is something that you haven't done. So then Wendy, after Hot Topic, she had Aisha Tyler on her show. And maybe this was why Wendy brought up the conversation earlier about the heavy menstrual cycles, because Aisha was on there to promote a foundation that she is involved with, and it's called I Have Heavy Periods. And so I guess they're like coming up with treatments or promoting healthy treatments for women that suffer from heavy cycles, so that they don't have to have hysterectomies or take any kind of drugs or anything to control their menstrual cycle. Now, I thought she said the website was IHaveHeavyPeriods.com, but when I went to look for it, I couldn't find the website, because I definitely wanted to hear that information. But other things that she talked about while she was on there was that, you know, she had been married for 25 years, and they got a divorce. She says that she's just happily single right now, living her life, but her and her ex-husband are best friends, and she's not interested in dating or being seen out and about with all these different men or anything, because she felt that that would be disrespectful to her marriage, you know, of what her and her husband had. But she never said why her and the man divorced. So, but she seems to really care about him and care about his feelings and everything. But she says she's just living her best life right now. And then Wendy brought up the fact that she never had kids. And so then she said that it wasn't that there was like anything medically wrong with her that she couldn't have kids. It was just that she was so focused on her career and, you know, everything that she was trying to do in her life, that they put off having children. And then when they sat down and talked and decided, okay, now is the time for us to have kids, she was much older. So they decided to go through the IVF route. And she said then, you know, after she started, you know, weighing the cost of it and weighing the damage, she says it's not as simple as people are making it seem. Like, you have to do things to your body. You have to inject hormones and all this stuff into your body. And she said that after like a treatment or two, she was like, no, this is not what I'm doing. Like, do I really want a baby this bad that I'm going to subject myself to this? And she said, no, I'm not going to do it. Now, maybe that was why they got divorced. I don't know. Maybe he really wanted kids, and so she freed him, you know, unlike Quad, who want to hold Dr. G down, knowing that the man want kids. Maybe Aisha said, I'm going to free you to go out there and find you a woman that can give you some kids. But like I said, she never said why her and the man got divorced, but they seem to be really good friends and still care about each other. And even more surprising was the fact that Wendy didn't try to make digs or tell her she needed to be going out there getting her groove on and sleeping with this man and that man and all that other stuff. And then Wendy, you know, she kind of shared how, you know, once she had her son, I think she just had her son to probably hold on to her husband, but after she did it, she was like, she was never going to do it again either. And plus, I think Wendy had complications from her pregnancy. So that was it for Hot Topics. Now let's move over to The Real and Girl Chat. So once again, I don't know why I keep missing the first minute of the show. So I first missed the first minute of Wendy Williams, and I also missed the first minute of The Real. But when I got back into the room to start watching, Jeannie was on there talking about she done gained 15 pounds because she's trying to redefine her body. I don't know what the hell does that mean. Like, is she lifting weights and the weight is, you know, and the muscle is putting weight on her, or is she just gaining weight and that's a new way of saying that I'm fat and I'm okay with being fat? So I missed the first part of that conversation. So I don't know where she was coming from, but I guess people were commenting that she's getting bigger, and then she had on like this big, you know, jacket. And so maybe they think she's pregnant or something. I don't know. But she redefining her body, y'all. So they kicked off talking about Kate Middleton again. And so they were saying that she left the hospital 7 hours after having her baby, and that in other places it's normal to go home on the same day, but in the U.S., you know, they be wanting to keep people. But I think here in the U.S., if you have a regular childbirth, they send you home after the first day. Like, if you get in there 6 o'clock in the morning and kick that baby out, you might be home by 6 o'clock that evening. Now, for me, I have 3 daughters, and I had C-sections with all 3 of my daughters, and so I had to stay in the hospital for like a week. But I think with my 3rd daughter, I wasn't there as long as I was with my first 2 daughters, and there's like a 7 there's a 7-year age difference between my youngest and my middle daughter, so things were definitely changing. So they might send you home after 3 days now. And then Tamara said that she had C-sections with both of her kids, and then she reminded me that when you have a C-section, they won't let you go home until you have a bowel movement. So crazy, I know, but you got to poop before you can go home after C-section, because, you know, they have to take all your stuff out to get the baby out and then put it back in. They want to make sure everything is working well. And then they were talking about Kate actually wearing a red dress, and then I guess when Lady Di came home with, you know, one of her kids, she had on a red dress, so they claimed she was paying homage to her. But I'm thinking she just had a red dress. It probably had nothing to do with Lady Di. And what else did they talk about? Oh, Jeannie said that there are women who have children at home and are up walking around, you know, the same day. So she doesn't see why it's a big deal that Kate came home after 7 hours. And then they were saying, like, with the first baby, she was in the hospital for a day. Then with the second one, she came home after 10 hours. And then with this one, she came home, you know, in the 7 hours. And then Adrian says that she thinks back to the days when there were no hospitals and you had your baby at home and the doctor had to ride out on the horse. And then Tamara took it even further and said that she can remember, you know, stories in history when she was talking about slavery, but she wouldn't say it, where women just squatted down in the field and dropped the baby out. The midwife came, got the baby, you kept on plowing them fields. Yes, women. We are Mother Earth, right? Like, we produce the life, we bring it into the world. So then they started talking about George Bush, and, you know, Barbara Bush died last week. And so after the funeral, he was hospitalized, and he had some kind of he has a virus in his blood or something, some kind of infection in his blood. And so they started talking about people dying of a broken heart, and how George and Barbara Bush were married for 70 years, and how people that have been married that long, when one of them died, you know, it's not uncommon for the other one to die, you know, a couple of days later, especially if you were like that close to each other, that in tune with each other. And, you know, they were talking just basically, you know, mind over matter, that you have to have the will to live, the will to get out and learn new things, and to move on, you know, after that person passes away. And so people are concerned that George Bush may be very depressed because Barbara died, and that may have brought on the sickness. And they were talking about how we can make ourselves sick, or we can make ourselves well, because, like, if you start thinking, oh, I got this, then your body feeds from that, you know, from the brain, and then you can cause different diseases and whatever in your life. Then they started talking about children, and how I think they were trying to say that they hope that the younger George Bush and Jeb Bush and all of them will gather around their dad and, you know, be there with him during this time and encourage him, you know, to want to continue to live now that his wife is gone, and to motivate him. And so Adrian was saying that she thinks about choosing not to have children may impact, you know, quality of life, you know, when it comes to the end of your life. And, like, if you get older and you don't have children or grandchildren, like, what's your motivation to get up and keep going? And then Lonnie says that her and her friends have had the conversation, and that they've agreed that when they get older, that if they're not married or have children or anything, that they're going to be like the Golden Girls. They're going to move in together and support each other. And Lonnie was talking about, you know, when we get like 50 years old, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, I'm 53 years old, and I am very well much alive, okay? Like, I am alive, I go out, I enjoy life. But then I also have children, so maybe it would be different if I didn't have children. But I just think that at 50, Lonnie, people are still living their best life. Then Tamara got real deep because she says that she prays that she dies before her children and that she would want to be surrounded by her children when she passes away, because she thinks that if her children are there, that means that they're happy and she was a good mom, and that she would be okay with passing away. So they was getting a little bit too morbid for me. So I was like, can y'all hurry up and talk about something else? Then they went on to the topic of how do you see yourself? And so on Sunday night, Hillary Clinton delivered the Arthur Miller Freedom to Write lecture at PEN America World Voices Festival. And so Hillary Clinton sat down with novelists. Now I know I'm about to butcher her name, but I will say this after I butcher her name, that I have read some of her work before, and one of my favorite books by her is The Purple Hibiscus. So if you like to read, I highly recommend it for you. But her name is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And like I said, I know I butchered that, but check out her book. Okay, so her and Hillary Clinton sat down to talk, and she asked Hillary Clinton to how did she come up with the way that she describes herself. And then she pointed out that on her social media pages that Hillary Clinton describes herself as a wife first, and that she looked at Bill Clinton's page and he describes himself like as a politician and his accomplishments or whatever. And so I guess she made Hillary Clinton feel some kind of way, because then Hillary said, well, when you put it like that, I'm going to go and change it. And then the article that I was reading, they said that she hadn't changed it yet. So the Real was asking, like, is there anything wrong with seeing yourself as a wife and a mother first? And so, you know, Lonnie said that she went to the co-hosts, to their pages, and read what their bios said. So Tamara described herself as a wife, mommy, actress, blah, blah, blah. Jeannie's bio started off with activist and co-host of The Real. Adrian started off with Lower East Side to Bel Air, and then Lonnie said three times nominated part-time pimp. So the ladies agreed that there is no right or wrong answer. Whatever way you want to describe yourself is what you should put on social media. And then I got to thinking about my bio. So I know on my bios, I always start out that I am the mother of 3 daughters, because my daughters are my life. And then I get into the fact that I'm an author, you know, I do content production, blogger, and that type of thing. And I commend people that are willing to put, you know, their descriptives in there, because I think what you put first in your bio are the things that are most important to you. And so I'm always skeptical of people who start out where they're just talking about their accomplishments, their accomplishments, their accomplishments. And for me personally, my greatest accomplishment is being a mother. So, and everything else is secondary. So then the last story that was on The Real was, they called it Lucky Charms. And so it was about a lady, and her boyfriend went to the casino, and I guess he was always losing money, losing money, losing money. So then they were together this particular night, and he won $500,000. So she thinks that she's his lucky charm. So she had this casino card, and I don't go to the casino, but I'm assuming that the casino card is a card where they'll load the money on that you win through the night, so you don't have like these little tickets and everything that you got to go cash out. You just use your card. And then if you go to the casino frequently, they put like discounts and give you extra tokens and that type of thing to play games to keep you coming back, and you know, just different things that you can do with this card. So they agreed to put the $500,000 on the card. So then they go and they cash out. He gets the money. And when they get back home, he showed his behind and just started disrespecting her, seeing other women, just out there living the life, spending his money. And so, you know, when you win the lottery, you have to pay taxes on that money. And it's like 33% or something like that of the winnings. And so now this lady is stuck with this tax bill for all this money, because it looks like she won $500,000. So she's trying to talk to the guy. He ain't hearing it. So then she went to his dad, and the dad said, well, why don't you just file that you replayed the money and you lost all the money, you know, trying to win again. But I'm thinking, girl, you don't want to do that. Don't start playing with the IRS, because they might have a way to go back and check and see if you know, how much you played and how much you lost at the casino. So don't do that. So the ladies were basically, you know, talking about like what a creep he is that he stuck her like that and didn't share with any of the money with her. So I think they all agreed that it would have been nice if he had shared the money with her, but he was not obligated to share any of the money with her, and that, you know, she got to chalk it up to the game. But they did agree that she should sue him, you know, for the tax amount, because she shouldn't be stuck with that bill and she didn't benefit from any of the money. And then Lonnie asked, like, okay, well, this was a boyfriend. You can't really expect nothing. There's no real commitment there. But what if it was her husband? Like, would it be different if your husband did that to you? So Adrian said that she still would just take it as a loss. You know, that would be the cost of getting her husband out of her life if he did her like that. And she says that, you know, she's a very prideful person and she just ain't begging nobody for money. And me and Adrian think a lot, because I'm like, I would be dead, damn, and in hell, you know, because you know what you owe me, and I don't have to say to you that you owe me something or that you did me wrong. So it would just be the cost of sending you on your way. And then Lonnie says that she would have been smarter and laid down the stipulations before handing over the card to the guy. Like, okay, I'm going to give you this card, but you're going to give me X amount of dollars. This is how we handling the taxes, blah, blah, blah. Or he never would have got that money. And then I was thinking, that's right, because it was her card. So she had to get the money off the card to give it to him. So she was crazy, because I would only gave him half the money. Like, I would have got the money off the card and then gave him half. Like, but she was crazy for giving him all the money. And then Jeannie said that she wouldn't be playing games like that to begin with, because she got more important things to be doing in her life than hanging out at the casino trying to win some money, because he probably done lost way more money than he gained. And then he went out there and probably wasted the money on friends and girls and partying. So he gonna end up the loser in the end, because not only is he probably not keeping the money, he probably done spent all the money, but now you done lost your girlfriend too. And then Tamara says that she would just take him to court, you know, for the taxes, because $166,000 is a lot of money. And then she would have chalked it up to the game, and thank God, you know, for allowing her to see his true colors. So guys, that's it for me for Hot Topics versus Girl Chat. I think if I had to choose a winner, Girl Chat won. Wendy wasn't that eventful today. So let me know what you think. If any of the topics, you know, struck you as interesting or odd or whatever, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.